Josh Haskell, ABC7.
Yeah, Governor Newsom, did you ask for Dr. Angell to resign, and did she resign on her own?
Yeah.
And why did she resign? Did it have anything to do with the data reporting issues?
Look, we have a good team in place. We made decision. I try, and I hope you respect this, and certainly been the case in other instances, try not to have personnel conversations in public. I don't know that it serves a larger good. At the end of the day, the buck stops with me. I'm accountable, and I recognize that as governor of the state of California. As it relates to my responsibility, it extends to my team, and it extends to our efforts to keep you safe, to keep you healthy, and to mitigate the spread of this disease. I want to thank Dr. Angell for her leadership, her stewardship, and it's one of those difficult things when someone leaves that you consider a friend, someone I respect, someone who was a real champion of racial justice and social justice. It's the reason she was brought into the administration. The decisions made, we're moving on. Dr. Galley was clear in terms of what we're doing in the interim. Dr. Pan now is a health officer in the interim as well, in terms of making the decisions we're making and moving forward with the kind of focus that you deserve, your governor, and as a state.
Kathleen Renane, AP.
Hi, Governor. So I just want to ask a little bit more about this data issue. So at the beginning, you were talking about our aging IT infrastructure, and I guess I'm wondering if it's fair and appropriate to blame this on aging infrastructure, because from what we know, it seems to be a result of human error. And then you're being a little bit vague on sort of the circumstances of Dr. Angell's departure, but she was the state's top public health officer, so I do feel there's public interest in why she left. Prior to this data glitch, were there other issues with her performance or her leadership of the state's public health response?
Forgive me for being human here. I'm governor. The buck stops with me. You want accountability? It's with the state. It's with the governor. I'm used to that across the spectrum. It's a large state. It's a nation state in terms of size, scope, largest state in the union. A lot of moving parts. On any given day, there's a lot of information that comes in that I assure you should not enliven people that we're meeting expectations in every way, shape, or form in terms of how the business of the state is conducted. Every day we work to improve upon that. Every day we own up to our responsibility and accountability in these roles to do more and do better and to seek to improve, to make progress. And ultimately, I can only assure you it's my responsibility to make that progress. But one thing I won't do as a human being is get into detailed personnel conversations with you out of respect and a deeper responsibility, not to go into a back and forth. The decision was made. I applaud Dr. Angell for making the decisions she made. I've made it crystal clear. We've built a new team. Dr. Galley has as well. We have fixed the backlog. We're moving in a direction not only to address the short-term issues, but as I said, the medium-term issues with this system. And that includes, by the way, building a system capacity that is an IT-focused solution to address COVID-19 specifically. CalReady in the past was dealing with a couple hundred cases a day, not the magnitude of the cases that we're experiencing in a state as large at the moment. And so we need to isolate. That's why we had Amy Tong as part of our IT team in there. This was IT in many respects. There were some personnel judgment questions as well. But at the end of the day, it was a combination of factors, servers, redundancies, issues that could have been addressed, weren't addressed, and decisions were made, and we're moving forward. No one's trying to hide that. No one's trying to mask that. We're owning that. We're moving forward to address those issues, as it relates to the backlog. That information will be forthcoming, and we'll address these issues, as I said, over the next few weeks in the medium term, and then deal with these larger IT questions, which I do believe are foundational in this state across the spectrum of state agencies.
Victoria Colliver, Politico.
Hi, Governor. Thank you for taking the call. Two questions here. One is looking at the fixes from the state. You talked about long-term and kind of medium-term. How can we immediately be confident that we won't have this kind of outage again? And then secondly, I want to push back on this with Dr. Angell. I feel like we as the public deserve a little bit clearer explanation. Most of this has been focused on the data problems. So why should the state health officer have to go in the middle of this, or why is she leaving? I think we need to know more. Thank you.
She resigned. She wrote a resignation letter, and I accepted her resignation. We're all accountable in our respective roles for what happens underneath us. I don't want to err any more than that, but if it's not obvious, then I encourage you to consider the fact that we accepted the resignation. We appreciated her work. We all have a role and responsibility as it relates to what happens within our respective departments. None of this is easy. Technology is always stubborn and challenging, and all of these things being assessed, all of these things being considered in relationship to what we're doing going forward with our acting interim DPH director, and as it relates to our long-term strategies. And so that's what I can say on this. That's what I think is appropriate to say on it, and I think that's very clear. And to the extent that someone does resign, we accept that resignation if we feel it appropriate. I accepted that resignation.